Hi there, I'm Jamie Anderson, and in this video I'm going to address all the excuses you have for not learning an instrument. Now, maybe excuses is the wrong word here, maybe it's perceived limitations. There are some very real limitations to learning an instrument, but you may be wrong about your abilities and if you can learn an instrument. So I'm going to address several different concerns in this video. Number one, I hear from potential students all the time, I don't have a background in music, no one in my family played music or an instrument. None of that matters. I've had students from all different walks of life who have never picked up a guitar before, who wanted to learn the guitar, and they did. And that's because they practiced and they continue to have a good attitude. So the same could be true for you too. I also hear, my hands are too big. Well, I've never seen that to be true. Never. What I want you to do is to go to YouTube and search for Ricky Skaggs playing the mandolin. This is a mandolin. Mandolins are pretty small. He's a pretty big guy. He plays really well. So if you are committed to a particular instrument, your hands are probably not too big and you should go ahead and try to learn to play the instrument. Again, practice and a good attitude is key. My hands are too small to play. I hear that one a lot, and for younger children and for people of small stature, that is a very real limitation. However, there's a way to work with that. They make small guitars. They make half-size guitars, which I would suggest mostly for children, but there might be some adults who want to play one. They have 3/4 size guitars. They also have travel guitars. Those are all small. So go to a brick and mortar store and try all those different guitars. Bring your child if the lessons are for her or him and see how they fit. You don't want to put a guitar this size in the hands of a 7-year-old because it's going to look like they're holding a 57 Buick with strings. So that's not great. Also consider a different instrument. Ukuleles are really great for small hands. This is a soprano. Oh no, this is a tenor. And you can see that it's a lot smaller than my guitar. It's also only got 4 strings, and it's one of the most accessible instruments to learn. So if you're considering an instrument and it's the first time that you've ever played, consider the ukulele. Now, if this might be a little too big for you, you could try a soprano ukulele. Soprano ukuleles are the smallest ukuleles. See how cool that is? So consider something this size if you think your hands are going to be too small. And also go to YouTube and search ukulele players. You'll see some pretty big-handed people playing tiny little ukuleles. So lots of options out there for you. Left-handed people sometimes express concern because they think, oh, it's going to be hard to find an instrument, or maybe I shouldn't try. Oh, baloney. However, I do want to say that if you've never played an instrument before, consider a right-handed instrument. Now, the reason I'm putting that in air quotes is because when you play, let me grab my pick here. When you play, your left hand's doing a lot of the work. Because your left hand is the one changing chords. Your right hand is generally doing the same thing over and over again. So having said that, it's also fine to look for a left-handed instrument. They're going to be a little more difficult to find, but they are out there. And for that, of course, you would play it this way. I'm not going to play mine because it's not strung to play that way, but your left hand is doing the strumming and then your right hand is doing the chording. So left-handed guitars are just fine too. And if you find a good teacher, they should be able to help you play. Different learning abilities. I sometimes hear things like, I'm dyslexic, I don't know if this will work, my son is autistic, all kinds of reasons why learning an instrument might be difficult. And for some people it might be something that isn't possible. However, know that I've had lots of students who have different abilities. I have a student right now who's dyslexic. He has a little trouble reading words that go with music, but he reads music like the wind, he can play, he knows lots of different strums. And his parents think that it's really helping him in school. So I think that with autistic kids and kids with severe learning disabilities, it might be a good idea to get them private lessons, because if they can work with a teacher one-on-one, they might learn a lot faster. I don't have any special training in teaching people with special abilities, but I do know that when I work one-on-one with a student, I can figure out how they learn and work with them in that way. Also know that everybody learns in a different way, right? So if you look at tablature or chord diagrams and they make no sense to you, then maybe you're not a visual learner, maybe you're an auditory learner, and then you need to get a video lesson or a teacher who will play you things that you can copy. All right. I also hear things like, I have arthritis, or I have this physical limitation, and that might prevent me from playing. Think of this. If you exercise your hands and you've got a little bit of arthritis, do they feel better afterwards? I know that that's true for me. I do have a little bit of arthritis, and I asked my doctor about it, and she said, play in moderation, don't overdo it, and you'll be fine. In fact, it might be good for your joints. Now, I'm not dispensing medical advice. I want you to talk to your health practitioner, and they have the final word. Physical therapists know a lot about how the body works. There may be a slight adjustment that you can make in the way that you hold your instrument that will make it a lot easier to play. I had a student once who had, because of an injury, he couldn't bend his left wrist. And so chords were very hard for him, because you have to have a little bit of a bend to make chords. And so what we figured out is that if he played the guitar the other way, he could put a pick in this hand and he didn't have to move his wrist, and he could chord with this hand. And even though he was right-handed, that worked really well for him. So consider adjustments like that. I don't have the time to practice. I hear that usually after they've been taking lessons for a while. And frankly, I can't help you there, because practice is essential to learning an instrument. However, I can tell you that you only need 15 minutes a day and you can learn. I've seen this with students time after time. A half hour is better, an hour wonderful, but 15 minutes is all you need. So develop a regular practice. Leave your instrument out so that you always see it and you'll know to practice. So I hope that this video has helped you and brought down some of those perceived barriers for you, and I hope that you are able to learn the instrument of your choice and really enjoy it. I know that I really enjoy being a musician. If you're interested in Skype lessons, you can contact me at jamieanderson.com. I'm often fully booked, but I'd be happy to put you on my waiting list. Check out my YouTube channel. Subscribe. If you can't find the subscribe button, then search for Jamie Anderson Music on YouTube and you'll find it. Lots of free lessons out there, everything from bar chords to how to strum. Thanks a lot.